Hello everyone, welcome back. So guys, in today's video we are not gonna create any new project, but instead of we'll learn how to connect our front end with the back end. Because guys, lots of students have a question or doubt in their mind as a beginner that how they can connect their front end with the back end. Okay, when I was a beginner I also have that kind of question and doubt. So let's resolve that doubt and learn how to connect our front end with the back end. So let me first show you the step, like which step we are gonna follow. So here you can see I have write down all the things step by step, and you will get this step in our community post as well, like connecting React frontend with the Spring Boot backend. Okay, so first step guys, you can see create actually it's for React, but let me scroll up. And yeah, first step is for create our Spring Boot application. Okay, initialize your Spring project, then create some RESTful APIs, then annotate with the course configuration. Okay, so that you can access your Spring Boot API from the front end. Okay, so this is the first, second and third step. Now as a next step we need to create our React application first, then design our UI. Okay, after designing our UI we need to fetch the data from the server using Axios. All right, then finally we need to handle our responses which we are getting from our API. All right, so that's it for the theory part guys. Now let's jump into the practical, and let's start building our project, this small to do project, or we can't say also project, but we can say small tutorial. Okay, so let's start guys. Okay guys, so now let's start step by step. Here you can see in the docs, our first step is start by creating new Spring Boot project using prefer ID or Spring Initializer. So guys, you can get this step in our community post as well. You can see connecting React frontend with Spring Boot backend in 7 step. Okay, here also you will get all the steps which you need to follow for connecting your frontend with backend. Now what I'm gonna do is I will open here Spring Initializer. So let me search for Spring Initializer and let's initialize our project first, so that we can done our first step. So let's do this. Let's choose here Maven, and here give me just 1 second. Okay, here guys you need to give your package name, com.jos I will give here, and artifact ID let me give here connect front end with backend, or let's say give connect front end to backend. That's it. Name will be this, connect front end with backend. Description, and let me put here connect front end backend, and let me remove this. Let's give here com.jos package name. Okay, now guys let's add some dependencies. So let's choose Lombok, then Spring Dev Tool. Okay, so that whenever we made any changes our Spring Boot application reload automatically, and Spring Web for creating our RESTful APIs, and data JPA, Spring Data JPA, and driver class, MySQL driver class. Okay, for database. Okay guys, so we will make this project as simple as we can. Okay, because I don't want to make it complicated for beginners. Okay, so that's why we are not gonna use here Spring security as well. We'll made basic APIs, and then we'll connect our front end with the back end. Okay, so now we can generate our project by clicking here. So let me click here, and you can see it will take some time, but yeah. Now let's go to here. Let's go to YouTube projects, and let's create our project here. Connect front and backend. Let's save. And let's go to directory. Now, what I'm gonna do is I will extract this. Okay, extracting is done. Now let's go to here, and inside this you can see our project. So now let's open this with the IntelliJ IDEA and trust project on new window. Okay, you can guys use your favorite IDE like Eclipse, STS also you can use for Spring Boot. And yeah, you can see our project is load. Now by clicking here I can run our project. Let me enable Lombok, and okay, our project is running, but it will give error because we didn't provide MySQL driver class. Okay, so connecting our application with the database, we need to provide driver class. What I'm going to do, I will search for driver class, MySQL driver class, Spring Boot. Okay, and let's go to this first link and scroll down. Here you got this. See, so let's copy this, all this, and let's go to our resources like src main and resources inside application.properties file. Okay, here we need to provide our database name first. You can see here they have provided example db, but here we need to provide our database, then our username and our password. So let's go to first MySQL command line and first create our database. Okay, because we don't have any database, so let's create our database first. I need to log in here. What I'm gonna do is need to provide first password. Okay, let's provide my password. Okay, now let's create database and database name. So connect front end to backend. I need to give name like this, and let's copy this name. Okay, and let's hit the enter. You can see query okay, one row affected, means our database was created. Now let's go to here, let's remove this. Okay, now guys, let me show you this database also, like use database, and let's check if there is if there any table present in our database or not. So just use and our database name, our database change. Now let's check the tables. So show tables. You can see empty set. Currently we don't have any table inside our database. Okay, but since guys here we have provided AutoDDL updated, it will create tables according our entity. Okay, no problem. Now let's provide here a username. So my username is root. Guys, you need make sure that you will provide here your username, not mine. Okay, else it will not gonna work. And here also I will provide my password. Okay, all right, this is my password. And now what I need to do is let's, so guys, our database configuration is done here. Okay, now we'll create entity, means we'll move to the second step. Let's go to here. See, now define your RESTful API using MVC mapping endpoint to control method, implement course configuration. Okay, so now we are gonna jump to this second step. So let's go to here. First guys, we need to create our entity, and let's click new on package model. Inside this model, let me create to do. Okay, let's define it with entity, annotate it with entity, and data for getter setter methods, no ask constructor and all ask constructor. Great. Now we need to provide here unique identifier, that is nothing but ID. Okay, and let's annotate with the ID. Also we need to generate this ID automatically, so we need to annotate with generated value, generation type auto, generation type auto, but here we need to provide the strategy. Okay, so strategy like this. All right, and let me minimize this now. Second field, I will provide string title. Okay guys, I'm not gonna provide here more fields. I will use only title. Okay, because we'll make it we'll make it simple as we can. All right, now model is ready. Now let's create service. Okay, and inside this, let's write to do service. Okay, and let's annotate with okay, we don't need to annotate it, but let's provide here interface instead of class, and here we'll provide all the methods which we need for this. Okay, so first method will be get all to dos. Okay, it will return list of to dos. One more thing guys, let's go to, oh, why I have provided this service inside model. Let me move inside our main package. So yeah, now let's go to here, and let's refactor this name. Like to do. Okay, now let's go to here. Let's import this to do, and method name get all to dos. Okay, great, and let's import this list as well. Okay, now create to do, so it will return to do, create to do. Okay, it will accept to do as a request body, and void delete to do. Okay, we need to provide here ID, which to do you want to delete. All right, great. Now let's create service implementation of this to do service. So to do service impl, and implements to do service. Okay guys, now we need the repository. Okay, so let's create repository. First I will create one package dot repository repository like this. Okay, and inside this I will create to do repository. So to do repository. Okay, let's extend with JPA repository, and here we need to provide the class name. For which class do you want to create this repository? So to do entity. Okay, and here we need to provide the ID type. Okay, so ID type is long in our to do entity, and let's make it interface. Okay, so guys, here you can see our ID type is long in our to do entity, and this type, long type, we need to provide here as a second parameter. All right, now we can use this to do repository here. So let's write here private to do repository, and let's annotate with auto wired. Okay, and one more thing, let's annotate our service implementation with the service class. Okay, now let's write here method. So to do repository dot find all, it will return all the to dos. Okay, so our first method is ready. Now second, let's create to do. So to do repository dot save, and let's provide here to do. Okay, this is also done. Now for delete, what you need to do is to do repository dot delete, and here you need to provide the to do, but let's do one thing. First let's find the to do. So to do equal to do repository dot find by ID. Okay, here we need to provide the ID. Guys, if it is find by ID, then it will return that to do, but if didn't get the to do with provided ID, then what it will do, it will throw exception. Okay, throw. So for this, here we need to provide the or else throw, and inside this new exception, and inside this let's write to do not found or to do not exists. Maybe we can write this. And let's add exceptions here. Okay, now it is fine. Now let's provide here to do. Okay, so what it will does, guys, first it will check that to do is present with provided ID or not. If to do is exist, then it will return. If to do is not exist, then it will throw the exception to do not exist. Okay, and by this line it will delete the to do if it is found. Alright, now let's write the endpoint for this. So what I'm gonna do is let's write one package controller, and let's create here to do controller. Great. Let's annotate with REST controller. Okay. And here we need to do service private to do service. Now let's write here our first method for get all to dos. here first we need to provide the return type. Okay, so to do gets all to do, and what I need to return here to do service dot get all to do's. That's all. And let's import this to do list actually. And one more thing guys, we need to annotate this service with auto wired. Okay, what is, okay, so here we have made the mistake. Okay, now it's fine. All right, now guys, let's provide here endpoint. So guys, this method gonna be get method, because we are gonna retrieve data from the database using this method or endpoint. So for this we need to provide get mapping. Okay, why get mapping? Because we are gonna retrieve or get some data from the database using this endpoint. So that's why we need to provide here a get mapping. Okay, now let's copy this and let's do same for the create to do. Create to do. So create to do will return to do, not to do lists. Okay, and let's write here create to do. Here guys, we need to provide the, okay, and let me minimize this also so that yeah, here we need to provide to do. So let me write this to do, and this to do guys will receive from body. Okay, this body will send from the client side, that means from front end side. So how will receive it here? Request body and to do like this. Okay, and instead of get mapping here, now we need to give post mapping. Why post mapping? Because we are gonna inserting or adding some records in our database. Okay, that's why we are gonna give here post mapping. Here if you can see, in get all to do's will retrieve or get some data from the database, and in the second method create to do, here will add some data or add some record inside our database. That's why we need to provide here post mapping. Okay, now let's copy this and let's provide delete mapping. Okay, so guys, now we'll delete to do here. Delete to do. Okay, so in the first method we are get all the to do's. In the second method we are adding some records in our database, and in the third method we are delete some records or some data from our database. That's why we need to provide delete mapping. Okay, so now guys, here I need to provide the ID, like which to do you want to delete. So that ID I need to provide here, and make sure that guys, in the get method and delete method you can't provide the request body. Okay, so I need to remove this request body, and instead of here I need to use path variable. Path variable, that is nothing but long IT. Okay, and you need to give this variable and this variable name same, and let's provide here ID, actually delete to do ID. Okay, now it will return void. Okay, so what you need to do is let's control X it and provide it here. And let me write here null for, and also we need to throw the exception, okay, because if to do not found with this provided id, then it will return exception. Okay, now what I'm gonna do is guys, here where I should write, okay, let's write in model one response like ABI response. So whenever you want to send custom response, that time you can create new class like this, okay, and no args constructor and all args constructor, and here you can provide your custom fields like I want to send a string as a message and boolean status, okay, and if you want to send other fields you can send as well, but this 2 is for enough for me. Now let's create ABI response here. So ABI response equal to new ABI response dot set message. What is this message? Like to do is deleted successfully. To do deleted successfully. And response dot set status true. And let's return here response. Here also I need to change the type ABI response. Great. Okay, so guys, our application is now ready to check. And one more thing, let's provide here endpoint. So get all to dos. Our this endpoint will start from API to dos. Okay, and here also for creating it will start from API and to dos as well. Here also our delete endpoint will start from API, then to dos like this. Great. Now let's create one more endpoint here. So let me provide here get mapping and just API. Okay, and let's return here ABI response, and let's copy this. And let's give name it home controller. Okay, and let's provide message here, welcome to to do API. Welcome to do API. Okay, so first let's check this API, it is working or not. So what I'm gonna do, I will rerun this application. Okay, so our backend is running successfully. Now let's go to front end, actually browser, and let's check. So our backend is running on 5454 port, and let's provide here API endpoint. Okay, why is not able to get this endpoint? Get mapping rest controller. Okay, to do controller / API get mapping. Okay, let me rerun it once again. Oh, I guess there will be some problem. Let's go to okay, now let me rerun this again. actually I haven't provided here port, so default port it will take 8080, I think. Okay, so let's provide here 8080. And yeah guys, you can see message welcome to todo API, status is true. That means our application is running successfully. Now let's check our API in Postman, then we can start integrating with the front end. Okay, so just let's create new collection quickly, a blank collection, connect front end to back end, front end to, or maybe connect front end back end. Okay, let's create a new request, create to do, and our method will be post method. Here we need to provide API endpoint, so let's provide here our port is 8080, then slash API to do's. Okay, and as I told you, inside body we need to provide the data, so let's go to row and here JSON and title. So title will be create React application. Let's send. You can see our to do is created successfully. Okay, now let's add one more request. First let me copy this. Okay, now let's add request, get all to do's. Okay, so guys, inside get method we don't need to provide any body, so let me send this now. And here you can see getting create a React application. Let me create one more to do, like finish your finish previous project. Let's hit the enter. Okay, now let's go to get all to do's and see. So here you can see we are getting both to do's, our first to do and second to do. Alright guys, so our backend is ready. Now let's connect our front end with the backend. Alright guys, since our backend is ready, now let's check out our next step. So let's go to docs, and here you can see our next step is build your React frontend. And before that guys, here you can see we have create our RESTful APIs. Okay, but we have forgot to annotate our controller with the course origin, because it's gonna give us a course origin error. But okay, no worries, we'll check it or we'll fix it when we face this error. That time we'll fix this, so that you can get the idea how you can solve or resolve the error if you can get this type of error. All right, now our next step is let's build our front end. Okay, so here you can see our first step is create a new React project. So let's do this. What I'm gonna do is let's go to here, and here let's create front end folder directory, front end. Okay, and let's open it with VS Code. Okay, it will take some time, and yeah, it is open our VS Code, trust author, and okay, now let's create our React application here. So npx create React app. Okay, using this command guys, you can create your React application. And here I have provided the dot. That means I want to create this React application within this directory. Okay, and if you want to create your project with the different directory, then you can give here name like X, Y, Z, or like Josh. Okay, whatever directory name you want to give, you can give here. But I want to create this project within this front end directory, so I will give here dot, and let's hit the enter. And now let's wait till it will create or maybe install all the packages and dependencies. Okay, and guys, one more thing, we are gonna use Tailwind CSS in our project. So let me go to here and let's search for Tailwind. Okay, let's go to get start, then let's go to framework guide. Let's select here React. And okay, so this step we need to follow for adding Tailwind CSS in our project. Npx create React app. Okay, so this first step we have already done. Now our next step is npm install -d and Tailwind CSS. So let's copy this. Let's go to our project, and here you can see our project is created successfully. Now let's paste this. Okay, let's go back, and okay, after doing this, what we need to do is let's copy this tailwind.config.js code, and let's go to here, let's go to tailwind.config.js. Here you can see we have got the tailwind.config.js file. Now inside this file, let me remove this file code, and I will paste which I have copied. Okay, next step, let's copy this 3 line, and where we need to provide this paste this 3 line. So index.css file, inside index.css file, let's go to src. Inside src you will get index.css file. So let me provide here below. Okay, great. Now what is next step? Npm start. So let's do this npm start. Let me remove this. Npm start. And there you go, our React application is running successfully. Now guys, let's go to here. After creating React application, what you need to do is design your UI component JSX and using CSS. Okay, so now our next step is to create this UI. Okay, so since guys this is not CSS and HTML video, that's why I'm not gonna create this what I say UI, but instead of what I'm gonna do is I will go to this React repository, and by the way guys, you will get this repository link in the description. Okay, so from there you can copy this code and yeah, paste use in your project. So let's go to do front end. Inside src, inside component, inside UI design. Okay, you need to copy this UI design.jsx code. So let's copy this. Let's go to here. Let's create component. Let's create here home page, home.jsx. Okay, let's provide our code. Now let's go to app. Let's remove all this code because we don't need it. Home, home.jsx. okay, we need to change the name. Instead of UI design, now I will give this name, give name home, this component. Okay, and let's import this home component. We don't need this. Okay, let me remove this logo as well. Now let's go to here, and you can see Okay, we need to provide some CSS still. So let's do one thing. Let's give it flex, item center, justify center, then let's give here height screen. Okay, and width full. Okay, one more step is left. We need to change this background. So let's do this. Let's go to index.css. Okay, inside body, let's provide here background color. Background color, which background color I will give here, hashtag 0c 0c 1c. Okay, and let's provide here now color. So color will be white. Let's provide here height 100 vh. Let's provide width 100 viewport, overflow x hidden, and overflow y also hidden. Overflow x. Okay, width will be 100 viewport, not 10. All right guys, that's it. Now you can see this is a dummy. If I click here, nothing happened. Okay, and if I write here something and click on it, still nothing happened. Okay, so now let's add the functionality. So what you need to do is just go to home.jsx. Okay, and here guys, I will define one state. title set title equal to use state. Okay, now second state also I need for storing all our to-dos. Set to-dos equal to use state, like this. Actually title will be this. Okay, not array. All right, now let's minimize this and this code. Okay, so guys, I haven't explained this code, so let me explain this. Here you can see input. Okay, inside second div we have input, add new task. Okay, so in this input guys, we need to add handle change so that we can set our title, and whenever we click on this button, we need to submit our form. So let's do this like okay, I know that you didn't you haven't understand anything, but yeah, let's do this practically so that you can understand in better way. On change, here we need to provide on change and e. On change set title e.target.value. Guys, I hope you are doing this project, means connecting front end with the back end. That means you have at least basic knowledge of React. Okay, so that you can understand this step which I am writing here. Okay, it will set title from here. Now what I need to do is, let me write here like const create to do equal to, okay, create to do function. I have right here. Now inside this function, what I'm gonna do is console dot log title. Actually, let's do one thing. Const data equal to title, title. Okay, and let's console here data. Okay, whenever somebody click on this button, okay, on click, that time we need to invoke that create to do method. So let's go to here. Now let's do inspect, and let's make it responsive and like this. Let's go to console, write here something. Here you can see we are getting this form. Okay, this is ready. Now let's fetch the data from our server using our API. Which API? So here you can see for create to do and get all to dos, and also of course for delete to dos. So let's do first create to dos. So let me copy this, and let's provide here API const API equal to, let's remove this endpoint. Okay, this is our base API. Now what I'm gonna do is inside create to do, guys, now we need to make this function async function. Okay, because we are getting here a response. Actually, promise. Wait. Yeah. Because guys, we are getting here promise, and we need to wait to resolve that promise. That's why we need to use here async function. So now try. Let's use here try catch block. Okay, so const. One more thing, guys, we haven't installed Axios, so let's install first Axios, because we are gonna use Axios for fetching data from the server. So npm I Axios. Okay, now let's extract data from the response. Now we need to await, and Axios dot post method. Okay, it's gonna be post mapping, that's why we need to give here a post, and API. Actually this API. Okay, so let's provide here API as well, because guys, if you can see in our backend, let me show you. Okay, let's go to controller, minimize this. Here you can see API is same for all the endpoints. Okay, our all the endpoints start from API, so let's provide that common endpoint here, API. Okay, so API, then here we need to provide to dos. I guess to dos is all the common for all the APIs. Okay, here also to dos. Okay, but inside home controller there will be not to do, but yeah, here also to do and here also to do. So let's provide the to do also here, API to dos. Okay, and let me remove from here. Now let's see our first endpoint for create to do. Okay, API to dos. So API to dos, yeah, that's all. Now let's import this Axios. Okay, so guys, Axios post, here you need to provide first parameter your URL, that means backend API, and second is you need to provide is body. Okay, so let's provide here data, that is our body. Great. Data, data, why it's giving this? Data was used before it was. Okay, let's give something else here, like to do name. Let's give here to do, and let's use here to do. Okay, and let's extract here and let's paste it over here. Okay, now what we need to do after getting the response, okay, after getting successful response, we need to set this to do's here, okay, in our local state. So let's do this. So first let's provide our all existing to do's, and with this let's provide our new to do, that is nothing but data. Okay, this data set to do's. Great. Now inside catch, what you need to do is let's console our error, catch error. Okay, great. So if you encountered any error, it will go to this block and console our error. But if our response goes success, then it will set to do's inside this to do state. Okay, now let's check what are the errors we are gonna face here. So let's write here create project, and let's hit the API, and here you can see, guys, course origin, course policy response to respect doesn't pass access control to checked. So it says check no access control allow origin header is present on requested response. So guys, this error you are getting because of course origin. You need to provide course origin properties inside backend. Okay, so let's fix this error by go to Spring Boot, and here you need to annotate with course origin, course origin. Okay, and here you need to provide the your front-end URL. So origins equal to our localhost. Actually here, yeah, our front-end URL is this, okay, because our front-end is running on localhost 3000 port. So that's why we need to provide here localhost 3000. But guys, if you have deploy your application, okay, so that time you need to change this URL with your deployed URL. Okay, make sure this thing. All right, now let's go to our front end and let's check it again. Great, you can see here this time we have getting this response. That means we have created our project successfully. I mean to do successfully. Title is create project and ID is this. Okay, now let's write our second method. So let me minimize this, copy, paste it over. Our second method name is fetch all to do's. Fetch all to do's. Okay, and now here we don't need to provide the body. So await axios.post, instead of post let's give here get method and our API. So this is API. Okay, great. Now set to do's. Here what I need to do is set to do's data. Okay, because here guys we are gonna get the list of to-dos. Okay, all these to-dos we are gonna set here. All right, great. And now I need to invoke this function. So when I will invoke this function, so guys, whenever our application render first time, okay, that time you need to render this method. So use effect, let's use here use effect, and I hope you know the use of use effect hook. Okay, fetch all to do's. Let's do this. And let's provide here like all to do's. You can see all to do's. See all to do's. Okay, create React application, finish previous project. So these two to do's guys we have created using Postman, and this to do we have created using our form. Okay, great. Now guys, instead of this dummy to do's, what we need to do, we need to provide here actual to do. So let's go to here, let's minimize this. Okay, and here you can see we are mapping this card with new array. Okay, let me do this. So instead of guys this dummy array, what you need to provide here, actual to do. So to do's. So which to do's? Let's go to here. Yeah, this to do's. Okay, will map our card with this to do's. Okay, now here you will get only 3 to do's. Okay, now let's make it dynamic. Here you can see to do. Okay, so what I'm gonna do, I will remove this dummy and write here item dot title. Let's go to here. You can see now create React application, finish previous project, and create project. Okay, so now it's dynamic guys. All right, now our next step is create delete method. So let's copy this and paste it over here, and now let's convert into delete to do. Delete to do. Okay, here we need to provide the ID, like which to do you want to delete. Okay, that ID you need to provide here. Now let me remove this. Instead of get, now it will be delete. And here you need to provide the API. So API, then you need to provide here ID, of course. So let's provide ID, and let's remove this. Okay, API slash ID. So let's go to here and see the endpoint of delete to do. Maybe API to do's, then ID you need to provide here. So same here you can see. Let me remove API to do's, and after to do's ID. Okay, great. Now what you need to do is here guys, you need to filter that to do from set to do's. So to do's dot filter to do dot ID not equal to ID. Okay, so it will remove deleted to do from our to do's, all the to do's. Okay, now delete to do, where you need to invoke this delete to do. So let's go to and check here. You can see red button. On this button guys, whenever user click on this, here you need to provide delete to do, and let's provide the id. So it will be item.id. okay, this item.id you need to provide here. Now let's go to front end, and when I click here you can see it's deleted, and even if I refresh, it's deleted from our database. Okay, now let's write here create new project. Okay, and let's create new to do. See, our to do is created. Guys, that's how you can create unlimited to dos. Okay, and you can delete as well. All right, so yeah guys, you can see we have successfully connected our front end with the back end. Okay, so that's it for this video. And one more thing guys, here if you can see in our React application, we haven't used any state management library. We are managing our state locally. Okay, but guys, if you are comment like you want videos on Redux. Okay, you want to use Redux instead of managing state locally. You want to use Redux state management library. Okay, and if I get or got a good amount of comment like this, then I will definitely create videos on Redux. Okay, that time we are not gonna handle our state locally, but we'll use Redux state management library. Okay, yeah guys, so let's meet in the next video.